Vegan meat isn't a thing, you're screaming. Just eat a cow, you're shouting. No, I'm gonna eat this. And you should too because it's delicious. Today, we're making vegan meat lasagna. This super easy vegan lasagna has layers of tender noodles, meaty veggie crumbles, savory tomato sauce, and 3 kinds of vegan cheese. Recently, my kid told me that this was his favorite recipe of mine and that I should put it on my website. So that's what I'm doing. Also, shout out to my neighbor, Julianne, who brought me parsley in a pinch so I could garnish this thing. We're using a few shortcuts and 1 medium cut to make this lasagna. The first thing you need is no-boil lasagna noodles. Don't use regular lasagna noodles, they will not cook through. The no-boil ones cost about the same, and you don't have to boil them before you use them. The other shortcut I'm using is store-bought tomato sauce. If you would prefer to use homemade tomato sauce, absolutely go for it. But I wanted to keep things easy for y'all, so I'm using sauce from a jar. I'm also using frozen veggie grounds. These are the kind of grounds like the Morningstar Farms grillers, I think Beyond and maybe even Impossible make these now, and they're the kind that you can heat up like in the microwave. If you're using something that's more like a meaty vegan ground meat, you're gonna wanna brown that in the pan before you use it. If you don't want to use veggie grounds, that's totally fine. You can omit them, you can replace them with some roasted vegetables like zucchini. You can also replace them with lentils if you want. One thing we are doing that's going to add a little bit of time, but I feel like it's totally worth it, is making the ricotta for this lasagna from scratch. It is super easy. You do it right in the food processor, but if you would rather use store-bought vegan ricotta, absolutely skip that step and go for it. First, let's make that ricotta. All you need to do for this is add all of the ingredients to your food processor and run it until you have an even mixture. Sometimes that last bit of tofu can be stubborn, so I like to add the tofu first and press it down to make sure it's all really close to the blades. You can also stop and scrape down the sides of your food processor to make sure that all of your tofu is getting broken down and mixed in with all the flavoring. Set that aside, and it's layering time. Grab your tomato sauce and put a generous amount, about 1.5 cups, on the bottom of your pan and spread it out. This is gonna help the lasagna noodles cook and prevent sticking. Then sprinkle half of the veggie crumbles onto that sauce. And layer on 3 of your lasagna noodles. Now put a really generous amount of the sauce, about 2 cups, on top and spread that out. Sprinkle on the remaining veggie crumbles and then layer on 3 more lasagna noodles. I'm doing 3 noodles per layer here because the way my pan tapers, 3 really fits better than 4, but if you can fit 4 noodles across, absolutely go for it. Now it's ricotta time. Divvy up that tofu ricotta and drop it all over your pan. Then I like to use the back of my spoon to kind of squish it and spread it out a little bit just so that you get a little bit more even coverage, but some gaps are totally fine. Now add 3 or 4 more noodles and 2 more cups of sauce. Spread that sauce out and then sprinkle on your vegan cheese. I'm using both vegan mozzarella and vegan Parmesan, but you can just use mozzarella if you prefer. Now cover the pan with foil and throw it in the oven. After about 50 minutes, your noodles should be tender and the cheese should be pretty much melted. So at this point, pull the foil off of your pan, increase the heat of your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, and then bake again just until the cheese is totally melted and everything's bubbly and it looks just absolutely perfect. This should take about 10 to 15 minutes depending on your oven, depending on your pan, your cheese, and stuff like that. You can slice and serve it immediately, but it is easier to get those really pretty slices if you can wait like 10-15 minutes just for things to settle a little bit. If you have leftover lasagna, you can store it in a closed container in the fridge. You can also slice it into individual portions and store them in the freezer. thaw them overnight in the fridge and then warm them back up in the toaster oven or in the microwave. This lasagna is just so cozy and comforting. It's easy to make. It's a total crowd pleaser, and I can't wait for you to try it. I hope that this video answers all of your questions about how to make this vegan lasagna. If you have any questions I didn't address, feel free to drop a comment. I am always happy to help. And don't forget to rate and subscribe. Happy cooking!